This time on Video Game Tango, we talk the potentially upcoming League of Legends MMO, World of Warcraft's upcoming expansion announcement, the progress made on Engoodening No Man's Sky, and the newly announced Kingdom Hearts 4. After the break, we talk about the potentially new Nintendo console coming soon and what Breath of the Wild has to do with it. We also talk mobile games and Vicarious Visions.
This is Nick, and having been surrounded by children, I now apologize to all of my elementary school teachers.
Hi, I'm Josh, and I've been approved for gaming in China.
Hi, I'm Sierra. Weird smells and such.
I'm Andy, and this is Video Game Tango.
So, Greg Street recently tweeted of Warcraft fame, Age of Empires fame. He has a long and storied career, going to go down as one of the greats. And I won't bury the lead. He opened it with that there's no guarantee that the League of Legends MMO is going to ship. There's a little bit of qualifiers in his tweet. They're optimistic that it does. Just be warning that it might. You know, in history, not all games do this. And it got me down a little rabbit hole. If you don't know about League of Legends or MMOs, welcome to the podcast. But yeah, they plan on making one. I think it was leaked in 2020. What I read that they were making it. Greg Street himself announced, I think last December, that they were working on it. And what a time to do a different League video game. I mean, we all know Riot's popping off the top of this esophagus, Rhinoceros. They've got the card game. What is it? Legends of Runeterra. Mm-hmm. They have Ruined King, which made like $4.5 million estimate. League of Legends is doing great. We all know Riot's doing great, besides the lawsuits and all that.
Arcane exploded.
Arcane. Yeah. And that's the cherry on the top, right? Like, what a time to put out another League game. Yeah. MMO, interesting choice.
I want to play a good one. I haven't gotten to do that yet.
You haven't, and you probably never will, but that's just a bet. And it's not your fault. It's just the fact that it's not 2007
No,
anymore.
It is his fault.
You did come
It's 100% his fault.
No, it is my fault. I mean, I can honestly...
He was too busy having sex.
It became a meme.
Again, he came too late.
Came too early.
Like, there's Facebook memories where it pops up where, like, several times in a year, Andy is like, hey, did you know that if you signed up now, it'd be free?
Dude.
And, like, you could just play and you could have fun with all of us?
We did last night,
Yeah, we did.
It became a fucking meme. Every time I saw Josh, I'd be like, so, when are you going to start playing WoW?
Yeah.
When I have a minute when you start playing WoW?
It really was a thing.
Back when I was balls deep into WoW. And even after I was like, I had removed about half of my balls from WoW, I would still ask, be like, hey, man, when are you going to play WoW?
So, back to the topic at hand, because people listen to us for up-to-date game news.
Yep.
So, here's what intrigued me. There's no guarantee this game will ship. We're optimistic, but you just never know until it does, end quote. There's no context for this tweet. He posted this April 8th. His last post, which was on March 30th. It's a picture of his dogs. I mean, we know that this MMO is coming out. We know that League and Riot and Runeterra is doing fantastic. Why randomly say out of the blue, by the way, we don't know if this game's going to ship? Because the reasoning is, in the past, sometimes things don't ship. And that's been his experience. Like, that was literally like almost the explanation he gave, is that, like, not all games ship, even if they're really great. They might not hold up to our standards. But, like, everyone knows that. Like, of course, sometimes games don't ship. Why would you randomly, out of the blue, to say, by the way, that major game that is going to be fucking massive might not ship? And he reassured his Twitter audience that, like, there was nothing, like, he's actually optimistic it's probably going to ship.
Yeah.
I was just confused, and it took me aside that he would just randomly post that, seemingly without context from what I could see.
So it works in a couple ways. So what I imagine, I don't have any confirmation here, but what you see from known developers, especially somebody like Ghostcrawler, somebody that's like been in game development for a long time, really beloved, has a massive Twitter presence and has his own following outside of even the companies that he works for. When he's working on a game, any talk from him about a game is big news, right? So I can see this. I can see this being feelers, right? So this is Greg Street's way of legitimizing the work that he's put into a LoL MMO to Riot, because Riot basically hired him and said, "Hey, we're, as far as the studio goes, we want a bunch of different games. We're throwing everything at the wall and we're seeing what sticks. That's been their philosophy for the last few years now, is like, we want to be creating multiple games simultaneously. Let's get Greg Street from World of Warcraft fame over here to build us an MMO. So he's the project head. So this is one, I think, partially legitimizing the want for an MMO in the year 2022, where MMOs are not at their peak. And B, I think it's also just to let the fans know that, like, despite such a big name attached to it, it is possible that it doesn't launch, because Riot is throwing it at the wall and seeing what sticks, and it really has to stick for them to put it out.
That's true. It all goes a bit above and beyond what my concern was. He says there is no guarantee this game will ship. There's the subject of the sentence is this game.
Yeah.
Like, how many people are going to see Greg Street and immediately know, oh yeah, he's working on the Riot MMO they announced last December. This must be what he's talking about. Like, there's no lead up to this sentence.
Yeah.
So it really feels like he was responding to something about the League MMO. And I scrolled through the replies in the tweet for 10 minutes looking for any kind of context, and I couldn't find it.
That's the thing, though, is like, this gets it in the news cycle. Like, he can absolutely make this tweet,
I'm sure,
and then the
he's
news cycle
big
gives
enough
it context.
that he can just, do it without context. But why? Imagine, like, them making the new Star Wars movie, and, like, the director just on Twitter one day says, this might not come out the way I wanted it to.
If it's Last Jedi,
Like, just out of context. Like, well, okay, sure, but it's going to come out. It's just really weird. It's really weird to, like,
it is. I'm not saying it's not
an obvious thing.
It's a weird tweet.
well, I mean,
My whole point is, if anybody knows any more context that I've missed, like, was there an interview with him talking about it? Was there something recent? Because I couldn't find anything recent about it. And it's very bizarre to randomly come out and say this game that isn't going to be coming out at least for another couple of years, that we're doing really well on. I'm fully optimistic it's going to come out. I have no reason to expect now it's not going to come out. Just to say, oh, by the way, it might not come out.
I don't know. Maybe that's exactly the point.
reaction they want.
Yeah,
He's just trying to drum up.
No, it's like, oh man, I don't know. And then people
It's
are
a
like,
controversial
wait,
game.
Really? Are you sure? What's going on? It's like,
Yeah.
well, actually, I'm really optimistic. There's these things. There's all these good things. All these other good things.
Build that hype.
Like it's just like a hype building text by
Somebody
being
who can
like,
hype.
oh, I don't know.
A little
and
bit.
then-
It
He's in a
definitely
position
could
to
be.
hype.
It's a
or
good
maybe
idea.
maybe there was something that we kind of missed where he gave an interview.
There wasn't.
Or- okay.
I can tell you that.
So yeah, maybe it's just designed to do.
Maybe this
that.
is lingua franca for his caliber of people on Twitter, that they can reference things without context,
Yes.
and people just, no one at all in the hundreds of replies asks for context.
Yeah.
Right. It's weird to me, but I don't.
It does
I'm
seem.
not
It may
versed
seem
in
weird to
Twitter.
you, but this seems like a totally normal tweet to me. It's definitely lubing up the hype machine
Yeah.
for sure.
I think it's
not only
probably a
that, but
combination of those two things.
it does come on the tail of GDC. So Game Developers Conference happened at the tail end of last month, and it's very possible that they had insider previews for this the League MMO.
Could be.
Yeah. We could speculate all we want, but it to me it seems like speculation, but it seems to me like it's probably just to warm up the hype machine.
I got a little speculation. So for the first time since July of last year, China has approved 45 new titles for development or release for games.
Okay.
And Tencent is not among the approved titles.
Okay.
Oh.
And China last year cracked down on, like, everyone to release a title there. It has to be approved. Their internet folks are going to scrub that shit out because they don't get the same internet as we do here. Even just talking about it, we're already banned there now.
It's nearly an intranet.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But they have for the first time in months and months and months approved new game titles to be released and developed. But Tencent not among them, and they did it to kind of crack down on tech giants, which, I mean,
Yeah, you don't want powerful corporations when you're running a dictatorship.
No, not at all.
At least a totalitarian regime.
Well, it kind of depends. Tencent is like the ownership of Tencent. A lot of it is the PRC.
But if it's not 100%, then
Sure.
it's not 100%.
But also, they've been digging so hard into the Western market that it wouldn't surprise me that they don't have a lot on the docket for China, anyways.
So,
Could be
like,
the
I
Amazon
think
in China.
some of these titles for approval are actually coming from Western markets. So I don't think they've been getting. I don't think they've been getting the Elden Ring. I don't think they've been getting the Horizons. So some of these are going to be in there. So this is good news for. I mean, some of it's going to be scrubbed, so they're going to be missing out on some of it, of course. But I mean, for gamers across the planet as a whole, a bunch of new games getting to go to folks that don't get to
Hell yeah.
play games is kind of cool, even if it's scrubbed and modded and released as a drip. But it's still new releases for the largest gaming market. So, I mean, that's my little bit of current news I brought for this week.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Greg Street.
Oh, sorry.
Thus bringing us to World of Warcraft.
I figure we were circling back around. I figure I wanted to get in before the...
Listen, segue from Tencent, partial owners of Activision Blizzard. I mean, it's the gaming industry.
It is the gaming industry. We tied it all in.
Yeah,
It's a circle.
there are less
the outside.
than 7. What do they call it? The Kevin Bacon thing.
2 trailer park girls?
Degrees
7. Yeah, it's less. Everything's less than 7 degrees away from Activision Blizzard. So,
on the outside.
and on the inside. So, the World of Warcraft expansion announcement happens next week on April 19th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. I, for one, I think I'm looking forward to it because it does mean we get a Blizzard cinematic. That might be weird news for everybody, being how hard I bash Blizzard every single week.
Cinematics are worth it.
I do love their cinematics.
It's an
They're
experience.
so good.
But
So-
the movie was so bad.
Well, that's because it wasn't in a WoW cinematic. I, for one, look forward to positive gaming news. What I would like Blizzard to do is go back into creating good video games, creating good content for their video games, and not harassing women and minorities and paying their staff properly, which we're seeing some movement in potentially all of those avenues. They did hire a new, I think it's a director of HR that is, it seems to be cracking the whip as far as their C-suite goes, making sure that none of this stuff happens again. Microsoft is dedicated to it not happening again. And there's more whispers than ever about Bobby Kotick getting the fuck out of Activision Blizzard. We'll see. We will see.
Well, I think when we have been hard on Blizzard, deservedly so.
Yeah.
But a lot of it comes from a place of love. I mean, I didn't play WoW, but I think everybody here has enjoyed a Blizzard game. I have met one of my best friends on the planet. We haven't met in real life, but I met him playing Overwatch. We talk every single day.
Yeah.
So without Blizzard, I wouldn't have a good friend. So when we're complaining about it, when we want them to be better, it does come from a place of wanting to be able to be involved with them again, to be able to jump back in and play some games again.
Let us be able to give you money again.
Yeah.
I would love to. I would love nothing
Let us
more
justify that.
Yeah.
than to put Overwatch on my PC and to play with my friends that I see playing it still. I think about jumping on the Xbox where I already own the game, but I'm not going to give them money. It's not going to happen until there's a change, and a significant one, a measurable one. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I get it. I want to be excited about Blizzard again. I do. I love their games. I want to
We
play
grew
some
up
more.
on them. And I want more that their workplace can be what people want it to be when they first start working there. I mean, we talked about people. That's a dream job, right? You work at Blizzard, and I'm sure they put up with a lot to have that dream. And if only people could go work there, and like that's all that happens is you get to go work at Blizzard.
They work
right?
there. They work on their game that they want to do. They're creating art. They're creating story.
And I'm sure there's lots of good people that work at Blizzard. More good people than bad. It's just the guy at the top doesn't give a shit, and that's allowed some shitty people to work their way into positions.
I've always had the law in my life: circumcise the pyramids. Just cut the top off.
Yeah.
No one needs it. It's bad. It's gonna rot. It's the first exposed, right? Just get rid of it. You get yourself a ziggurat, and you're golden.
And
There are so many ziggurats in WoW.
Exactly.
It comes full circle again. My take on it is, so listen, Activision Blizzard deserves all the hate that we've been giving them. I think, personally, I feel that they deserve the hate and vitriol that we've been issuing them.
Employees that weren't a part of this.
Correct. That's
the company as a whole.
That's something that I'd like to express is I think there is still a lot, and I would assume the vast majority probably, of good people, normal people that work at Activision Blizzard that aren't sexually harassing, sexually assaulting, and doing terrible things at the company. And I thank you for continuing to work through all of this, especially all of the extra bullshit and not getting paid enough to do it, just so you can work on something that you're passionate about. I'd love to come back to your games as soon as Activision Blizzard gets their shit together, has actionable items to correct their mistakes, and hopefully removes Bobby Kotick. I would love to come back and play World of Warcraft. I've been jonesing for months, but I cannot justify it. So please, Blizzard, fix your shit.
Mm-hmm.
Get it together.
Get your shit together. Put it in the backpack.
Don't be a bitch.
Don't be a bitch.
Speaking of backpacks.
Backpack.
I thought you were going to say, speaking of bitches.
Josh.
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Hey, speaking of bitches, Josh, how's No Man's Sky been?
I have been really, really enjoying the game. So I never played it when it was bad, apparently. So I only know what's good. And
That's good.
And it is good.
That's fair. That's good and fine.
So I dropped in. I don't know if everybody started on the same plan or whatnot, but I drop in on this plan. I have literally no idea what I'm doing. It's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to being able to upgrade my ship because I kind of got a.
You got a tiny ship. Does
do.
it make you feel embarrassed?
No, I mean,
Is it a grower?
No.
Oh.
No, it's not getting any bigger.
Damn.
It kind of looks like something you'd crop dust an asteroid field with.
Okay.
Why would you do that?
It has a pastel red and blue color scheme, so it really totally reminds me of a crop duster,
Yeah.
like an old school crop duster.
It's space farming, right? You got plants on the asteroids. That's how that works.
So I'm on a sideways planet, like Uranus. With
you mean the rings?
Yeah, so the rings are going like this, and
The axis is sideways.
The axis is sideways, and the planet's exploding.
Oh,
So I can only be on the planet for like 200 years game time. So I've only built myself a little base there. But like the sun bitch is getting ready to blow, and I've discovered a space station. Okay, and I'm making my own chromium and some other drugs we're not going to talk about because Twitch rules. Say no to drug. These are on a different planet. If your drugs are on a different planet, I accidentally shot a little robot.
Oh, that pisses them
Ouch.
off.
Oh, so
Was it BMO?
no. It was this. I was just trying to harvest rock. I got my laser. I'm trying to harvest rock, and I hit a robot, and then suddenly 30 other robots rise up on the horizon.
Rise of the Machines, man.
Yeah, they come over and they shot me in the ass, and that's where I left it yesterday. So I will update.
Did you die there?
I did.
Fantastic.
They killed me. I have died 3 times.
So, tell me, how is it? Like, what do you like about it? What problems do you foresee?
So the problems I foresee is being able to make money because I'm still in the very beginning of that. So my automatic money stuff isn't clicking over yet. So to buy some like crazy space boards, I need like literally 40 times the amount of money I have right now.
What's the space
Yeah,
board?
what the fuck is a space
You
board?
stand on it, flies you around space, right?
So I'm trying to upgrade my ship's engine to have a hyperdrive. It doesn't have one of those, so I can only go in system places right now because I have my pulse engine. And the cool thing is like if you want to save fuel, you can sit there and you can hold the fucking button and take 20 minutes to fly there.
Oh.
But you can save fuel because uranium's really hard to find. I haven't found any yet.
So you're not skipping between planetary bodies. You're literally just
So
hard
you can't.
gas.
So
driving.
I drove. I was like, I don't want to use any more of my pulse engines. I don't know when I'm going to find uranium. So I flew for 10 minutes. Now, admittedly, I had other things to do while I was flying, but I was just like, ooh, here we go. And I flew there for 10 minutes. I've already wrecked my spaceship once because the flying's really neat. It's all done with the mouse. And then you fix your pitch with the buttons. So like I swung around and I did too much of a barrel roll and I fucking buried that sumbitch.
So what I'm hearing from you is you're being heavily immersed in the game.
And
you're
I
really
very,
enjoying it.
very much so. Very much so. I've also chosen just the human body because now you can be a different kind of alien dude.
I'm not
I don't like that
surprised.
idea.
Wait a minute, a different kind of alien?
Yeah, like they have weird aliens. It kind of looks like you remember Ducky from Land Before Time?
Okay, yes.
But like imagine Ducky, but he's asking you for stuff in an alleyway and he's an adult.
He wants to do
and
butt
it's-
stuff?
Isn't that called like a
Got it.
diplodocus?
Diplodoclodon.
Parasalophilis.
Anal salophagus?
So I'm only
Parasaur.
like maybe 10 hours into the game, 12 hours into the game because I've been playing a lot of Apex still. I really like it. And I picked it up. Guys, it's still on sale right now. On
Get your
Steam.
copy.
Go get it. Like, if you haven't played the game, it's on sale right now for like $24.99. Go pick it up off Steam. Give it a try. If you played it and you didn't like it before because it was bad, I've heard it's bad. It was bad. It's good now. Come back. It's fun. Meet up
used to be
with me
bad,
on my planet,
but
Camp
now we're good.
Hambonius.
And I'm sorry, not a diplodocus. Parasaurolophus. Parasaurolophus.
Parasaurolophus. Yeah, it looks like an adult Parasaurolophus trying to offer you ship engine
Butt
parts.
stuff.
So that's all good because two things. One, yes, it came out in a bad state and they've proceeded to have like 19 major updates to the game. There's a
That's
whole video
so
on it.
refreshing
that we need
to
watch.
like that when people.
It's because
make it
the
better.
team as a whole decided, okay, we released a game that didn't live up to promises, is not near where we want. Do we want to be the company that just gives up and does something else? Or do we just want to fix it? And they sat down, nose to the grindstone, and ground out all that chromium.
Good on you.
They did grind out the chromium.
They
but
ground it.
two things related to that. One, they recently, drugs. It's either out or it's coming out soon. There is an update to No Man's Sky coming out called Outlaws, which apparently is an overhaul of the combat as well as other things.
So right now, it looks like I can get other things.
Yeah, you're just starting.
I'm just starting. So I have a mining laser. Now this sumbitch will cut a little skybird right the fucking half.
One of them fucking skybirds.
Opposed to like a penguin?
Goddamn Parasaurolophus.
I saw like a little, like I've seen little things walking around. I'm just like, I wonder if this will kill it. And it's just like, and it's like, ooh,
What if this
carbon.
mining laser would
Yep.
kill a bird?
Yep. Well, one, it kind of looks like a coatl. You know,
Coatl?
coatl.
Ukatoa?
It looks a bit like that, and I cut that son
I
of a
know
bitch in
Aztec.
half. Really,
Used to be my job.
really cut that son of a bitch in half.
Then
I
how do you
got
say
smeats.
How do you say Quetzalcoatl? Or
Quetzalcoatl?
It'd be like, if I have the TL diphthong correct, it'd be like Quetzalcoatl.
Yes.
The TL is the
Quetzalcoatl.
sound.
Yeah.
If I have that correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, don't.
Sorry, I just that word, that
Yeah.
name has bugged me since Final Fantasy VIII.
You could say Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah,
A little.
that's how I say
Quetzal
it.
is also
Quetzalcoatl.
okay because it's pigeonized.
No,
Yeah.
I think it's a
What?
hard
What?
case sound.
What?
Dad?
So that's good. But not only are you enjoying the game, and there is a update coming out, they've announced that they're working on a new title.
Ooh.
The only thing we know about it is the lead developer from Hello Games says it would seem impossible, even with a 1,000-person team. So they are thinking big, which is awesome and also terrifying because that's what they did with No Man's Sky.
Could you read that back again?
Hello Games says new project is so ambitious it would, quote, seem impossible, end quote, even with a 1,000-person team.
That boggles my mind. To 1,000-person team, and
Maybe
it would still seem impossible.
being ironic, and it's a whole too many cooks in the kitchen situation.
Yeah.
But Sean Mendez. It's Eva Mendes, lead developer of No Man's Sky. Basically, so they're coming up with something new. There's next to no information. Other than we all know the history of Hello Games. No Man's Sky was this procedurally generated orgasm box. Josh asked it, like, do I land on the same planet as everybody else? You don't realize there's potentially, was it trillions of planets?
So,
in that game?
dude, I was
procedurally generated infinite. Yeah.
The your startup screen, I'm just rolling through, and I've started up the game 4 times now, and I looked at the planets the first time. I was like, I wonder if those are all going to be the same planets every time I load in.
Do you know nothing about No Man's Sky when you started playing?
No, absolutely nothing.
Okay.
And so there has not been a single repeated planet or system name as I've flown through 4 different load-in times. Yeah.
There's a Sierra 1, a Sierra 2A, and a Sierra 2B in No Man's Sky.
Oh, is this that one?
That I named
the
planets after
Did you name
and the
Jazzy?
kids.
Yeah.
Jazzy got a bunch of aliens. I named the aliens after. It's like Josificus, like Styranus and Josepharium, Balarium.
This is the game.
Well, there is a Camp Hambonius, and it's it's in a shitty little hole on a hot planet.
Dude, that's perfect. That is perfect. That explains you. A shitty little hole on a hot planet.
Rude. So rude.
But a little funny.
It was a little funny. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Other than that, do we have time to talk about Kingdom Hearts 4? Or are we going to?
Let's talk about Kingdom Hearts 4.
Okay, so let's all list out our experience with Kingdom Hearts because I think it's a bit varied. I'm talking, so I'll start. Played and loved the first one. It was perfect time and age and setting, and everything was awesome. I was scared it was going to suck, but then it wasn't. The next Kingdom Hearts game I played was like Kingdom Hearts 3.141 Infinite Sky Paradox plus Ultra. On the next gen PlayStation. I had missed like 5, 6, 19 games. I had no idea what was going on. And that was one of the first games I was like, this is way too Japanese for me. Like I cannot follow at all what is happening. And it was not the same experience. But I really, really, really love the first one. I haven't played any other mainline games. Andy, I think you've played more.
Yeah, I want to hear what Sierra has to say about it, though.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. So I played Kingdom Hearts 1 all the way through also. I think it hooked me. The Disney characters, the nostalgia of the Disney characters, the Final Fantasy characters that kind of popped in. I enjoyed the freedom of movement of that game. Combat was sick.
It was a great period.
The integrations of the Disney characters giving you different things to do stuff with was super rad. They had super cool mini games, the call outs to a bunch of awesome movies, like the exposure of the lands to the different movies. I love that game. I did dabble a little bit on the Game Boy version as well. I never actually played Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3. I did hear that 3 was actually pretty outstanding as far as the combat. They cleaned that up quite a bit. But yeah, no, I am excited about Kingdom Hearts 4 just because it looks totally different, and I'm interested to see where that goes.
And what you bring up a good point is for its time, especially the real-time combat in an RPG was pretty new.
Yeah.
You look back on it now and you're like, this looks like everything I've seen. Is because this is one of the first games to do that.
And it's very, I would say by today's standards is very rudimentary, but we can literally see the progress of that combat system in Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and a lot of the newer Final Fantasies, Final Fantasy 13. So we've seen, I think Kingdom Hearts really did kind of start that kind of combat system, and then we've seen it iterated upon since and get even better. My experience as far as Kingdom Hearts was I played the ever-living fuck out of the first one. that was one of the games that. So, growing up, I had a tendency to play a lot of games to completion many times. I mained every game that I played, I mained for solid several months usually. Even to the point where I had perfected making my gummy ship. I could craft a gummy ship with my eyes closed when I was a teenager. I played a little bit of Chain of Memories, which is kind of Kingdom Hearts 1.5. And then I played a bit of Kingdom Hearts 2, and I honestly didn't like it. I thought it was too big of a pardon me. I thought it was too big of a departure from the original. And I didn't think it had really evolved enough for me to care about it. Especially with how much I loved the first one. So
I guess I was wrong. We all have pretty similar experiences.
We do, yeah. I think that's
more
similar.
varied than that.
I think that's similar to a lot of people.
And I think the thing that with the storyline, I mean, I kind of talked about this before, but it definitely feels like the panel of people sat down at a table, did DMT together, and then recorded their experience in a video game. They start out with a pretty like standard storyline, but it gets so convoluted that like you lose the ability to get attached to the characters. There's a bazillion characters with a bazillion different timelines and storylines going on that there's no chance for character development.
Yeah. No, and one of the biggest issues that I have also is too many bad guys.
Yeah.
Let's have one or maybe two focal points. It's okay to complicate your story with bad guys that aren't maybe necessarily bad, right? Throw in some anti-heroes and that kind of thing. But what Kingdom Hearts did was they made too many bad guys. It's very reminiscent of Final Fantasy Advent Children. They just put a bunch of robed, hooded guys, all with silver hair, all a little bit thin and too pretty, and turned them into bad guys.
Well, with the blending of Disney, they literally have a plethora of villains to tie in that can be minor villains.
Which that's all fine. Those are
okay.
No, that's totally fine. You fight, the Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas was an awesome fucking fight. Great fight. Loved it.
I've never really played a lot of Final Fantasy games. Never actually played Kingdom Hearts. I did watch an ex-girlfriend play Kingdom Hearts 3, and she didn't like video games, but she loved the shit out of this game. It was the only game I ever let her, I ever saw her play. And I let her take the PlayStation when she dumped me. So
Word.
Dude, what a guy.
Yeah,
Fuck.
no, I'm all right. I'm a solid all right. But she loved the crap out of that game, and I dig the Disney characters, so it's a lot of fun there. I might play the fourth one if they put some Star Wars shit in there. Disney owns Star Wars now.
They might. I don't
If
know.
Star Wars is in there, if I get to have a key saber,
that is an interesting point, Josh. So
I want to see Goofy fight Grand Moff Tarkin. Make it happen.
that's an interesting point. So let's think about the acquisitions since they, since essentially the last one came out. Fox, Marvel,
Marvel is what I was thinking too.
yeah,
Star Wars.
Marvel and Star Wars are the big ones.
So let's dissect the trailer real quick because we all watched the trailer before we started the podcast, and it's set in real life, like a city, like just in
It's
Very
nondescript city.
Mario
Quadratum.
Odyssey.
It's,
Mario Odyssey, yeah,
Yeah, where they have the real life city stuff.
yeah,
It's Quadratum.
Quadratum, yes. So real life city. So it wouldn't be too surprising if they were showing off something like the Marvel level,
Yep.
right?
The
Oh
superhero
yeah,
coming.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if they're gonna are you gonna fight Thanos in Kingdom Hearts 4?
I could
Sick.
see, the character I see coming up, honestly, is Wong,
Yeah.
Doctor Strange's sidekick.
Yeah.
He's been in a few of the animated stuff, like the What If stuff. He was in a few episodes of that.
Yeah.
I could honestly see Wong being like a mission giver or something in there.
Well, I mean, let's look at the multiverse, right?
Yeah.
So we have Marvel in the multiverse at the moment. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man would be a big one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised
In
to
that-
see Spider-Man.
In that town, perfect.
Yeah. To like, honestly,
Sony-
that's
that
interesting.
would
I like
be-
that you brought that up.
That would be perfect because Spider-Man is the perfect combination between the Marvel and what Sony already owns.
Yeah.
So they could get a lot of different versions of Spider-Man in that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spider-Pig. I want Spider-Pig.
Spider-Pig.
In that game.
So a couple
Calling
of
it,
things.
like Babe Ruth.
If you are into Kingdom Hearts and you haven't read up on this already, there's no release date for Kingdom Hearts 4. There's a trailer out, which you should go watch. Other than that, they are releasing a separate game, Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, for Android and iOS that will most likely, given their history, tie into the story of Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Which is all over the place.
I'm just reading now, this is news to me as well, that Kingdom Hearts 3 apparently tied up a lot of those weird
did?
ends, which is good because with a combination of this trailer, which looks like, I'm getting the feeling they want it to look fresh. It's not the perfect word for it,
well,
but like
maybe.
they're starting a new chapter.
I wouldn't be surprised if the trailer actually has nothing to do with the game.
I mean, other than the city, like she said, Quadratum.
Is that a
So,
Squeenix thing
I
in
actually-
general, though?
I have a
Not
thing
really.
about that. So you're talking about number 3 tying up loose ends. So
Yeah, that's what I read.
there's actually a secret scene in number 3 where they launch Sora actually like smack dab into the middle of Shinobu Crossing
Okay.
with a prominent 104 building. So it actually, there's a secret scene in number 3 that launches him into the city that he's in at the start of number 4.
Okay. Interesting. So probably are going to see Quadratum. Interesting. I mean, there's like a lot of speculation that we could do into this, especially with all of the IPs. Back when Kingdom Hearts started, it was all of your classic Disney IPs.
Awesome. So good.
They've acquired so much now that it's literally like almost all canonical characters in the world
And
can
honestly,
show up in Kingdom Hearts.
the most popular stuff right now is Marvel. I mean, there's anything Marvel drops out, it essentially makes $1 billion.
Yeah, 2.5 new
So-
movies every year, all make $1 billion. Perfect.
Here's a question. When did they start developing this game?
I was having trouble finding that on the fly. They did just announce it 4 days ago.
Yeah. And I know the
So-
platforms to be determined still too.
I mean, most people didn't know that Kingdom Hearts 4 was in active development, if it is. Yeah. They are using pre-existing assets for Kingdom Hearts. Well, I don't know about the city, but they are using, like, Sora's render is the Kingdom Hearts
Original.
3 render.
Yeah.
So they're changing engines between the trailer and the actual game they're going to be launching, because they will be launching the game in Unreal Engine 5.
That's what you said. It's launching in Unreal 5, but the trailer was in Unreal 4. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Nick brought that up earlier when we were talking before the podcast. Is
It's all circled round,
all circled back.
around the outside, bring it around town.
Mom spaghetti.
Mom spaghetti.
I would need to get that in first. Well, I think it's about time to go to break. If you guys are ready, you guys have anything you want to talk about before break?
One last thing.
Yeah.
Coming the day that I need to say out loud, April 28th, is season 2 of the underground game with the dudes that drill things, Deep Rock Galactic. We've been waiting a while. I'm very excited. We're looking at new missions, new mission modifiers, new weapons, no overclocks, new skins,
Plug,
different beards. I'm going to get so drunk in real life and in real game.
True.
And I'm going to kill bugs and robots and mine gems and try really hard not to form a union.
I mean, why would you try not to form a union?
Because then the company makes less money.
Yes, and we want the company to make money.
Sounds like there's a bunch of new stuff, but it's the same Rock and Stone.
For Carl!
Yeah.
Yeah. I did hear Rock and Stone.
I did.
So that is a Thursday, which is a perfect day for me to come over and just veg out streaming. I recently played through the Easter event. I've got bunny ears now. I'd be wearing those until I earn the new beards and whatnot. Any game you can earn beards in, like,
Yeah, that's
do you
true.
need to know anything else?
I
Check
unlocked
out
a new
Deep
beard.
Rock Galactic. Watch the trailer. do yourself a favor.
Beards are good.
I mean, we've talked about Deep Rock Galactic a lot.
Okay.
It's fucking awesome. You should play it.
If you like cooperative games, if you like shooters, you need to try it.
100%. Ready for break?
Break
Time. We'll be right back, everybody. Welcome back. Oh God, Nick's talking. So, I've got some other gaming news that is not Activision Blizzard related and not tangentially by any stretch. Actually, it's Nintendo.
Oh, hey.
So, Breath of the Wild 2. There's some conversation happening lately that the footage that's been shown off may not feasibly actually work on current Nintendo Switch hardware. Now, some experts, according to this article, are saying that some of the stuff that they showed off from the trailer isn't feasibly done on the current hardware. Now, is that because they're showing footage from the engine that hasn't been put on Switch hardware? Are they gussing it up and prettying it up for announcements? Who knows? But specifically, they're saying that the volumetric clouds present in the footage would be hard on the current 2017 Switch to pull off, and camera cuts with perfect anti-aliasing are something that even the Xbox Series X struggles with. It also says that the trailers being shown are in a higher resolution, whether it be 4K or 8K, than what has been rendered on the Switch, which obviously the Switch does not do 4K and 8K. It's actually a 720p console. So some people are theorizing that it's possible that this may be one of those situations like something like Skyward Sword, where Skyward Sword launched on both the new console, the Switch, and simultaneously the Wii U.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
So it's interesting to think that we might be seeing the next Nintendo console by the time that Breath of the Wild is ready. That also could have been the reason that Breath of the Wild 2 has been pushed back a couple times. Because
maybe they were on the cusp of like what to release it on. They
Right.
decided to delay it and not put it on both. Because you were saying just before the cast, it's been 7 years since the Switch came out, something like that.
Yeah, I believe so.
Jeez, it's been that long?
No, the Switch launched in 2017, 5 years.
2017.
Oh.
2017. It's
Holy
been
cow,
5 years.
how has
yeah.
it been that long already?
I know, it's pretty crazy. So Breath of the Wild 2 recently was delayed until spring of 2023. We've had some updates to the Switch. There was the original Switch that came out that we all know and love. There was the Switch Lite, which no longer allowed you to dock it, so it's not viewable on a TV. It brought down the cost. They had a revision of the Switch as the hardware developed. It was a slightly better system on a chip, more cost effective, that kind of thing. And then we had last October in 2021, we had them release the OLED model of the Switch, which really all that did is give you a more clear picture, better pixel density. Everything looked a little bit cleaner. But fairly small updates to the Switch. Now, Nintendo isn't known like Sony and Microsoft are to upgrade their console during its life cycle. Like we're already starting to see whispers of a new Series or a new Series X because it looks like they've made their SoC a lot smaller, their system on a chip. And that happens during these console life cycles. You saw several revisions of the PlayStation 3, several revisions of the... Oh, yeah, PS2 Slim.
Had a hardware and then the PS3 Slim.
And there are actually like 14 or 15 SKUs of the PS2.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Nintendo doesn't like give out updates for their games, really. I mean, why would they update the? I mean, like the fact that they updated the system at all is
they ship a full game is kind of what Nintendo does, but
that, I mean, that is true. God bless them. God bless them.
They usually have a little bit of DLC, especially in the form of amiibos, which I think are super cool. But it'll be interesting to see if what we're looking at isn't necessarily like new hardware in the Switch life cycle, but actually a new console. Yeah, it very well could be. These are the kind of the first whispers of the potential for a new console.
What was the time frame distance between the console before the Switch and the Switch? What was the time frame?
You mean from Wii U to Switch?
Yeah.
It was really short. I don't remember, but the Wii U actually did not sell very well.
Right.
It was a pretty poor performing console because they didn't change enough from the Wii to the Wii U for it to. Most people thought that the Wii U was actually just the handheld, and you could pair that with your Wii.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was actually its own totally separate console, totally
okay.
different
Had a whole
hardware.
bunch
Yeah,
of like gyro controls.
Oh, so it wasn't a thing that you could get in tandem to your current.
correct. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it wasn't just an add-on for the Wii. It was a whole
So-
new console.
We had the Switch in 2017, Switch Lite in 2019, the 3DS in 2011, the DS in 2004, GBA in 2001. So,
But what
3
about from
years,
Wii U
3
to
years,
Switch?
7 years, 8 years. If I had to guess, it's probably, I mean, we're averaging 5 to 7 years between consoles, including the handhelds.
Yeah,
Right.
So it's
maybe
about
not-
time.
Yeah, not maybe necessarily the like minor, tiny upgrades. Yeah, Wii U was 2012. The Wii was 2006. So that's a 6-year difference. 5 years to the Switch. So
4.29 years between the Wii U and the Switch. Between the release dates was 1,566 days, which I don't know. I don't know why Google decided to show that as a search result, but
2012 Wii U, 2017 Nintendo Switch. So yeah, I mean most major console updates you're not going to see shorter than 5 years. Like
yeah,
if I had
It's-
to guess a number,
yeah.
yeah.
The Wii U was a special case, and so are the handhelds. The handhelds they update way more frequently than they do their consoles typically.
We even had 6 years. We had 7 years between the NES and the SNES, 6 years between that and the 64, and 5 years between that and the GameCube.
yeah.
Another 5 for the Wii, another 6 for the Wii U. So as far as the mainline console goes 5-6 years. The handhelds are a little bit, they're all over the place.
They
but
are, but you have to consider also that this is not
A standard handheld.
standard console or a standard handheld. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hybrid.
So maybe we're getting something in between what their launch cycle would be between the two.
If anything that I'm always excited for about a Nintendo console, anything, is that they have the budget and the means to always try something new.
Yeah.
They push boundaries like no other company does, and they always have, right? You know, if you have any history with Nintendo consoles and handhelds, they're always trying to do something new. So where do you go from the 3DS and the Wii U? You know, they've tried the gyro stuff. They've tried the, easy dock, removable controllers, integration with a phone or phone-like qualities,
Maybe, but they've
maybe.
seemed to be Nintendo has really shied away from the mobile market, considering
VR.
that they could be launching some of their games
A lot
for
of
mobile.
their mobile games are third party. If I
Yeah.
had to take a stab in the dark,
So it's interesting because Nintendo could release every one of the first party games from NES, SNES, all the way up to probably the GameCube and later
Oh, GameCube.
for mobile, but they don't. If we want to take a look at their history, they have so many games that would run on mobile platforms that they just don't launch because it's not a controlled
let's
ecosystem
not
like they
start
like
a
to do.
conversation because I'm going to yell for 19
Sure,
hours
sure.
at Nintendo. But yeah, I just looked it up. Pokemon Unite is the Team E studio group. Before that, we had Pokemon Go, which was Niantic. They outsource their mobile games.
Yeah.
And I think they do that to distance themselves from any potential fallout if the game's bad.
There's that, and that's also what most game studios do. Now,
Yeah.
Nintendo doesn't do what most game studios do, but most game studios outsource their ports
Yeah.
and
It
their
makes sense.
legacy
I
projects.
mean, it's a different platform you're developing on. You're going to need slightly different knowledge. And
Yeah. And Lord knows they don't specialize in diversity as far as getting their games out on other consoles and other platforms. They like to have a pretty locked down, closed ecosystem.
Slightly related, speaking about Nintendo Switch, I play Fortnite with Jazzy, and I recently realized you can get it on the phone.
Yeah.
It's as hard to play that game on the phone as you're imagining.
Yeah.
I tried to borrow my brother's Xbox One controller. It's Bluetooth to set it up. Turns out his is too old. It's not the Bluetooth variety. And then I tried using the third-party Nintendo Switch controller that we have, the Pro controller, which is Bluetooth.
Mm-hmm.
And the left half of the controller worked. The right half didn't. And it had about like a half-second input lag. And I was like, this is undoable.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the fact that I don't know why it confused me, but yeah, Fortnite is on the phone.
Yeah.
It's there if you want to try playing a shooter on the phone.
Been on the phone for a long time. It's one of their most popular platforms.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Might explain why we were doing so well the other night.
Oh yeah, some people are playing on their Switches, their phones, right?
The Switch isn't too bad if you've got
Sure.
one of the third-party controllers that are like an Xbox controller.
Yeah,
They're
or the Pro
smaller.
controller. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun driving a tank around in Fortnite.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So we went back and played some Fortnite the other
just
night.
with the controls there, it felt very tanky. Like how I imagine, like some dude in Arizona powers an Abrams A2 to oppress some brown person in the Middle East.
6 pedals, man.
Yeah, like honestly, dude, it's like feels like 3 button presses and a click, and bam!
About to drop the hammer.
I'm dropping the hammer
bring
on
some
the Daily
indiscriminate
Bugle.
justice.
Dude, I got to run over some guy dressed like Deadpool. How fucking great
Yeah.
is that?
It is weird watching people Naruto running as Naruto in Fortnite. Yeah.
Yeah, and he just
I died to both a banana and a candy cane and a hot dog today.
Yeah,
Nice.
I believe it.
You unlived them?
well,
They unalived me.
they unalived you, and you got the whole food pyramid.
Yeah.
Bananas.
That's
hot
how you
dogs,
get your,
candy
uh,
canes.
Yeah, that's
Your greens and your fruits.
The 3 points of the triangle.
That's
Maslow?
how you
Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
that's how you achieve the peak male athletic body.
Yes,
Bananas,
those things.
candy canes, and that third thing.
I feel like
Hot
it was
dogs.
Hot dogs.
pineapples.
Bringing it
Pineapple's not
around the
bananas.
outside back to video games, Mom Spaghetti. I've recently been playing a game. I follow r/Android Gaming. It's a subreddit for Android games. 90% of the posts are people complaining how Android games suck, because they do. But every once in a while, there are some good things posted there. There's one called Prospector that is recently released. And the best way I can describe it is a kind of grid-based, semi-turn-based Rust. It's real. Like the game's playing right now, even though I don't have it running on my phone, I can log in at any time. I have a base like Rust. It can be rated with Dynamite like in Rust. I can rate other people. It's bare bones. But I realized playing it, I can log in, gather some resources, and then go back to the safety of my house and log out. It reminded me of that old Flash, not even Flash, that game we played with the Zombie Tour of America. Do you remember that? You had like 10 actions a day.
Yes.
It was a weird web-based game.
Yeah, that was
can't
back
remember the
during.
name.
Yeah, we were playing a
This is
couple
either
of those.
extremely late 90s or very early 2000s.
No, it's not that. No, it's not even that old.
Really?
No. We were playing this in our late teens. Yeah.
Okay.
We were still playing it when I moved into my first apartment.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it would take a
That's-
while to look up what it was, but
Yeah.
it was basically a text-based game where you had so many actions a day you could do, and it was based in a browser. But just that idea that to play something time asynchronous, we don't see that a lot anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I was realizing that's kind of a neat way to take mobile games. Not that they're going to go that direction because mobile games suck, but what is useful about a mobile phone? You have it on you all the time.
Yeah.
And of course, you've got that FOMO. You don't want to miss out on stuff. But being able to log in at any time and continue to play a game, that's the perfect kind of format for a phone.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting to see more games do that with kind of a living world that's going on 24/7. You can log in when you have time and do stuff. But
I play Sudoku.
you
Sudoku.
can't even pronounce it.
on my phone.
Sudoku.
Sudoku.
Yeah, it's fun. It's
It is
neat.
fun.
I like
I do
it.
It's
enjoy
good for your
Sudoku.
brain.
I play a third-party Wordle.
He
Oh,
plays
I had
Birtle.
Civ on my phone for a minute there. That was pretty cool.
What
Have I
was
shown
it?
you Unciv?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, okay,
That's
yeah.
the one.
It's an unofficial port of Civ 5. It's fantastic.
It was dope.
I'm playing a zombie mod on it right now. You already play zombies. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. I like the idea, like Nick said, it's always on you. I like the idea of mobile gaming. Like, that could be a thing.
Yeah, it's one of the
It could
most
be a thing.
be a
It's
thing.
the biggest form of gaming in the world.
Be a
money
thing.
wise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Which
and
is
by
a very
and by
important
player.
factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a quality thing.
It could be. We really lost out on opportunity for what could have been something fantastic.
I got a.
It all
KOTOR
started with
on
Candy
my
Crush.
phone one time. Oh, dude, I used to play the shit out of Candy Crush.
Of course you did, Josh. Because you're a bitch.
They're going to stop
mean-
listening to us.
I tried some Candy Crush. No, Candy Crush just happened to be the most popular game of its time. Everybody
because
played
it stole the match 3 formula.
Yeah, I played Bejeweled. I played a lot of Bejeweled.
It's okay to play Bejeweled.
I still play Bejeweled.
Well,
So what?
okay.
Yeah.
What's the best mobile game out there right now? Do you think? Or like
Best mobile game?
top 5? Can you
Top
can you
5
do a top
as
5?
quality?
No, I cannot.
Okay.
As far as quality
Yeah.
goes,
What do you think?
it's a bit subjective.
Fortnite,
Pokemon,
PUBG, Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go.
I mean, Pokemon
is
Go
up there.
All right.
Once you get past something like Pokemon Go, which is a bit universal, it becomes extremely subjective.
Okay. All right.
I've played probably over 5,000 mobile titles in my smartphone career. I play a lot of them. 99% of them suck. If you guys are drawing on the truth plate, okay, we're gonna have words after the cast. I will look those up. I've always thought of doing reviews on phone games. The problem is that again, the majority of them are low quality, and it's difficult to like want to write reviews when time after time you're like, yeah, don't bother playing this game.
Yeah, like I don't know. I just feel like any phone game I play, it's like most of the time it feels
Like a quick cash grab.
like
Because because that's what most of them are.
I can put together 20 titles by next podcast that are worth playing, that are free, that you will enjoy.
Okay, I think that'd be cool. I'd love to hear it.
I mean, I think Hearthstone is one. I think that's a quality game.
Stardew Valley's on mobile.
Stardew Valley, fucking phenomenal. Play the shit out of that.
Yeah, if we're including games that were not developed for mobile but ported to mobile, there's
Yeah.
a lot of really good
There's a lot of really good ones.
Terraria, Minecraft.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Although I played Pocket Minecraft and
I
not
was just
my
gonna say,
It's
Minecraft on
Kids don't
mobile
like
sucks.
I have Minecraft on I have Minecraft on there. It's tight.
That's
On
fine.
that one, it might be kind of cool though.
Yeah, no. If I open it up big style,
Yeah.
open up that hot dog there.
Yeah, because you got one of them Galaxy Folds.
Big Daddy
do.
Whopper.
Yeah. Big Daddy Glopper?
Big Daddy Whopper.
Okay. I was like, what the fuck is glopping?
I even heard Whopper in my ears.
listen.
Broken.
Yeah, listen, dude.
Listen,
I
Linda.
can't.
I wanted gloppers.
I mean, gloppers. Let's make it a thing.
It is now.
As far as other games,
As far as other games, I don't have any other games, but you had one that you were talking about earlier. We watched a trailer for it.
we did.
Yes. The one that you were very adamant we watched. Forgive me, Father.
Did we not already watch that on stream?
We watched it on stream. Didn't you want to talk
but
about
we
it?
need to talk about
Yes.
Sorry, again, drugs. There's not much to talk about other than it looks really awesome. So take the aesthetic and art of Darkest Dungeon, apply a little bit of a film noir comic filter to it, make it a boomer shooter, similar to that game that I mentioned that we brought up a minute ago that I forgot. Plus the game that Adam really likes. Oh,
Can I jump in real quick? I've never before tonight heard that term boomer shooter.
It's because you don't use the internet. But
Okay.
Doom, Quake, Hexen,
right.
fast-paced, Twitch-based games that are first-person, low poly graphics, that defines a boomer shooter. Boomer as in like,
Old?
back in my day, we used to play
okay.
Doom, and you didn't have to worry
So
about
like old
getting
school shooter.
battle passes. Yeah, boomer as in old school, not as an actual
Okay.
boomers.
Okay. They just keep changing the fucking terms on me.
You just don't keep up with the times.
Dude, I know what sus means, okay? I know what yeet means, okay?
Listen here, bro. I know
Like,
yeet.
I know a few things, so like I
What's
want.
the difference between a yeet and Kobe?
That's when you fucking bury that bitch in the mountain. And
Yeet
yeet.
is for distance. Kobe is for accuracy.
And also inaccuracy.
Kobe.
Well, no,
Take a shot.
it's actually the supreme accuracy because whether you miss or
Right.
bury that
It
fucker
was
into the
intentional.
ground,
Right.
it works.
Got you. Yeah. Got you.
Respect. Sorry.
You can't just say respect. You can't just
Respect.
say perchance. You can't just say perchance. It's
I
not a
mean,
thing.
What's a
All due
safer
respect.
chance?
Yeah, I don't have anything else as far as games go. I've been playing a lot of the same games on my phone and on the console. And by console, I mean this thing, the PC.
Word.
Tried out the Stellaris update with
All right.
the Unity.
Well, then let's talk a little bit more about Activision Blizzard.
Hey.
So, I've got this in my back pocket just in case the podcast fizzled out, which it did. So,
Wolfpack, back pocket.
we've got Vicarious Visions has merged with Activision Blizzard and is dedicated to making Activision Blizzard games from now on. Now, Vicarious Visions has made a lot of titles themselves and has been asked to make a lot of
So
ports
did they
as well.
just merge with Microsoft? Because Activision Blizzard is merging with Microsoft.
They might be. Remember?
Okay,
Yeah.
that's still up in the air.
The FTC is looking into that.
So they can merge, another company can merge with them while they're maybe merging with another company.
Yeah, sure, why not? As long as you make enough money, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
A lot
that's
of
all
things
the
are
merger,
legal
Josh.
nowadays.
I'm sorry, I just had
Merger.
to jump in real quick to make sure I was hearing what I was hearing.
The
Continue
merger.
on.
So they're responsible for a few really big games. I don't know if you guys know about a game called Guitar Hero.
Oh, may have heard of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Guitar
Once or
Hero,
twice.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Oh, yeah.
Games that actually sell, Skylanders.
Okay.
Like
Lots of money there.
lots and lots of money there. They have the rights to do the Transformers games.
Oh, jeez.
The rights to do the Kung Fu Panda games. Marvel Ultimate Alliance. So yeah, they're responsible for a lot of games. Now, they're mostly known for doing really high quality ports. And that's what they've been doing a lot of for Activision Blizzard in more recent years, is higher quality ports. They did not do Warcraft 3 Reforged. So really high quality ports, but now it looks like they're going to be working on Activision Blizzard titles. They're probably now going to be working on World of Warcraft, Overwatch 2.
I mean,
Diablo
given their like history, which I'm looking at, I'm guessing they're going to start trying to port this shit.
Potentially, but
are they working? Are they going to be working on like new release titles, or are they going to be working?
they are
on
dedicated to
ports?
making Activision Blizzard games going forward.
I mean, just looking at like
Ports?
the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater,
Games.
that was a port to
Okay,
Game Boy
okay.
Advance.
Yeah.
Guitar Hero, that was a port to the DS.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't actually make any of these games. They're all they're porting them to different consoles. So you are right in that they make really good ports. So given their history, one would assume that means they're going to be doing a lot of porting. Maybe they're making new stuff.
I mean, I'm reading from them that they are going to be working on Activision Blizzard titles.
Yeah, I'm just saying working on doesn't define if they're making a new thing or if they're porting Blizzard stuff to other things, right?
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
That's
I think
true. I mean-
that's the stipulation I was looking at too, as well. I feel like there.
yeah. I feel like what they're trying to get across here is because they talk about it multiple times. Once absorbed, it means the team will work exclusively on Blizzard titles. Alignment with the company and their recent work in Diablo 2 Resurrected, the move doesn't come as an enormous surprise. It all comes as Activision Blizzard still battles their public image, et cetera, et cetera. But they mentioned several times in this article and in their public statement that they are going to be dedicated to Blizzard games. So you're right. That doesn't exclude porting. Which of course there's been rumors that a WoW port has been coming to console since like 2008.
Dude.
You know, I don't think it ports terribly well, but if a good company ports it well, then great.
I barely had enough keys on a fucking keyboard to play WoW.
I know,
You're
yeah.
gonna port it to a 16-button controller.
I had to buy an MMO mouse so I could have more, and then I had to create modifier keys for my MMO mouse so I had
Yeah.
more. Yeah, oh yeah. No, World of Warcraft is a keybind heavy game. So getting it on a controller, while I have tried mods that make it work, it's not the most delightful experience in the world. You can get it running fundamentally fine, but you're always going to run into weird things. Like the first time I enter a vehicle in World of Warcraft, suddenly I didn't have the vehicle use special button bound because that's a custom keybind, right? So you run into issues when you try to do something special with World of Warcraft and their keybinds. But I mean, we already know like Diablo 4 is coming to consoles. That's native. That doesn't need porting. They're working on that natively, but and it's really easy now with the consoles that it's going to be launching on because they use x86 processors just like a PC. But it's interesting. I'd like to see what they are doing going forward. Because when we're talking about ports, they also do remasters. Like Crash Bandicoot wasn't a port of the PlayStation 1, the one that they recently re-released for the PC. Was not a port. That was a full remake. So seeing the job that they did on that and the praise that they were getting
They have
is
capability.
yeah, it seems like they can make a game. Now, I mean, they're making it based on a game that was previously made. But that being said, it looked great. It ran well, so they know how to run an engine. They know how to make a game look and run well. So we'll see.
Yeah.
TBD.
If I had to like pull something out of my ass, I'd say it's something to do with mobile gaming, whether that's
Possibly.
a handheld console or a phone. Just, looking over while you were talking what they have here. I mean, they have started in the last 7, 8, 9 years working more on consoles, but before that, it was almost entirely
A lot of mobile.
just handheld
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So,
Now, the reason why I didn't think that right away is because I feel like they would have said something about King, since Activision Blizzard owns King.
well, maybe they're leaving King to do something because it just makes a shit ton of money.
Yeah. It's time will tell. We'll see.
Yeah.
At any rate, I think that just about brings us to a close. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to add?
I had one more and then, but
Yeah?
it's not quite news.
That's okay.
So I recently have been diving into checking out games and cute little cozy games, and I found Undertale, which if you guys don't know about it, it's a super cute little 2D RPG. What's cool about it is it's like you don't have to kill your enemies. You have all these crazy alternative methods to navigate these monsters and beings that you encounter. It's supposed to be really funny. The little blurb I watched on it that kind of piqued my interest about it was there's this thing that looks like it's going to kill you, but instead it tucks you into bed and pats you on the head. And I'm like, okay, that's adorable. But it looks like the average gameplay is about 6 hours, so I plan on getting it on Steam and seeing what that looks
Yeah,
like.
I would really like you to play Undertale.
Yeah.
Can you still kill the monsters if you want?
You
to?
absolutely can.
Okay.
You can choose violence.
You're not going to want to.
You can
Okay.
choose violence.
You can choose violence.
Absolutely, you can.
All right, just making sure that was an option.
Yeah.
From the short experience I had with Undertale, and the fact that my brother played a lot of it, I think the best way to put it is someone took a lot of assumptions about older games of like the Nintendo era, how they looked, how they felt, how they played, and completely remastered them with modern day social zeitgeist. It's a fantastic game. I think everyone should experience it. I'm really looking forward to you playing it. Yeah, it's good. That was a good choice.
So do you get to make your own character, or do you play as a selected character?
You play as a selected character.
Okay.
And from what I can tell, it's essentially you navigating the underworld. But I mean, it's funny to me because the feel of it is very nightmare-esque, but the humor and the capabilities you have, instead of it being a slaughter fest, you can, juggle a baby while standing on a ball and burping the alphabet. Like, it just looks interesting.
It's cute. I like it.
I think we talked about a little bit. There's no concrete plans yet, but I do want to find time, if you can't play at home, to get you over here to play.
Sure.
The stream can watch. Be good.
Stream can watch me play.
Yeah. That's what video game streams are.
Mm-hmm.
What
I mean,
up, though?
yeah, I'm down. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, guys. We good?
Yeah.
We good.
Is that a podcast?
That's a podcast.
Did we just
wrap.
record a podcast?
We did.
Level up.
All right, excellent. This is podcast episode. I think this is 60.
Ooh. I need to
that's
be
a number.
partaking in
Yeah.
69. If I'm not here for 69, we'll be deeply hurt.
Oh, you
gonna have to skip a
won't.
week,
Yeah,
then.
you are. Well, you don't necessarily have to skip a week. You're just going to have to be here on one of your off weeks.
I'm going to have to make that happen.
You're here for even numbers.
I'm going to have to be here for 69.
It's
Yeah.
going to be a really nice podcast.
I'm figuring out how to have two of me on the podcast for 69. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. We love you all, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Good night.